In a small town, there lived a girl not far from her house. On a wasteland overgrown with weeds and stinging nettles stood some old ruins. It was unknown what had been there before, a castle or a temple, but the people in the town tried to stay away from the place. Children were afraid of the ruins too, but they still came sometimes, running among the debris and trash, pretending they weren't scared at all, though their screams held more fear than fun. Adults forbade children from playing there, especially since a dead boy had recently been found in the ruins. But the more they talked about it, the more the children wanted to visit the forbidden place. There were many scary stories told about the ruins, about a bone monster, about a green fog that could strangle you, and about the Black Window. The scariest story was about the Black Window, which appeared right in the air. Almost no one managed to see it, as it only appeared on moonless nights. But apparently, someone had noticed a patch of blackness hanging before them, different from the night sky, because it held no stars. If you weren't afraid to stick your hand into the Black Window, you could pull out a gold bar or an uncut gem, a diamond or a ruby. Although, you could also lose your hand that way. Sometimes, people pulled out their own or someone else's death. Someone else's death would just fly away, but if you pulled out your own, you dropped it dead on the spot. Worst of all was for those who didn't notice the Black Window and walked right through it. They were found later looking as if they had been caught between two closing walls, their bones crushed into tiny fragments. But all the children dreamed of sneaking into the ruins at night and finding the Black Window. Many carried a piece of rope and a triple hook made of thick wire to throw into the window and drag out gold or gems. One day, the girl and her two friends went to the ruins after school so no one could call them cowards later. They thought they would just take a quick peek and leave immediately. They weren't very scared, as the sun was shining and the evening was still far off. When they climbed into the ruins, they stopped being afraid entirely because they met two boys from a neighboring yard there. It was scarier to twist an ankle or trip and fall running among the pile of old stones. The children were about to leave after playing when suddenly one of the boys yelled, "The window! The Black Window!" The others ran to the shouting boy and indeed saw a square patch of impenetrable blackness hanging low above the ground. One of the boys was already tying his wire hook to a rope. The Black Window hung in the air, faceless and motionless. Yet there was something threatening about it that made the children huddle together, casting nervous glances at the black canvas of hopeless darkness. "Maybe we shouldn't," said one girl. "If you're scared, you can leave." The boy with the hook replied, "No one is keeping you, and we'll keep all the gold for ourselves since we found the window." The boy approached the Black Window, spun the hook, and threw it into the center of the blackness, letting the rope out to its full length. "Got it!" he shouted, yanking the rope. "I caught something!" He pulled the rope toward himself. He had almost pulled it all the way out when suddenly something yanked the rope from the other side, so hard that the boy couldn't keep his footing and fell straight into the Black Window. Someone screamed. The other boy lunged forward, trying to catch his falling friend, but he was too late. "What do we do now?" he asked a moment later. "Go in after him." In the next instant, a huge bone hand leaned out of the Black Window, trying to grab the boy, but he nimbly crouched and jumped back. The bone hand disappeared. I'm not going in there," the boy said, stuttering with fear. The girls were silent. Their faces had turned white as chalk. "But he's in there," said the girl, "and he needs our help." "Did you see what came out of there?" screamed the other girl and burst into tears. "He's been dead for a long time." As if confirming her words, the Black Window vanished. A moment later, as if only just realizing what had happened, the children rushed away screaming. Tearing through the weeds and ignoring the nettle stings, the girl made it out of the abandoned wasteland and stopped abruptly. A car drove by. On the other side of the road, a woman was walking from the store with bags. The sun was shining. Music drifted from an open window somewhere. Everything around was calm and peaceful, and what happened in the ruins seemed like a dream, a very scary one, but quickly forgotten. The girl didn't see the other children. They might have run in a different direction. "What will we tell his mom?" the girl thought, but almost immediately forgot about it. She brushed off her clothes and walked home. She had to do her homework. There was no Black Window, the girl thought. We just imagined it. But she hadn't taken 5 steps when suddenly darkness opened up right beneath her feet.